How are we doing, Cowboys? It's Mr. Lankin again, coming to you with another lesson in PowerPoint. Today we're going to look at a few lessons in the book, starting with Lesson 3, and we are going to conclude with Lesson 9. We're going to skip around a little bit. Some of the stuff is very familiar to most of you if you've been paying attention since Word, and we can just gloss over a few of those things real quick. As far as what we're doing today, we're going to be working with headers and footers and notes. On Lesson 3, we're going to take a look at a few things we can do with pictures. We are going to take a look at maybe changing the position with tabs. That needs to be a little bit different in PowerPoint because of the way the bullet points are usually used for stuff. We are also going to take a look real quick at Lesson 9 in the book, which is not too hard, but it's also a very interesting thing that PowerPoint can do that can make your presentations really pop. So let's get started with Lesson 3. I've given to you in your Google Classroom the P03 Try A and Try B. You should be able to take a look at those and be able to open them up. You can even open them up in Google Slides. Shouldn't be too much of a problem right there either. So first thing that we got going on in the book right now is that we're going to take a look at how to reuse slides from other slideshows. Now if you're smart, this is something that you want to be able to do, right? Because you've already done the work. Why do it twice? You know, you've got the information already in place. So you might as well just go ahead and reuse that information and make it easier on yourself. Okay, so first thing in the book, it says open up P03 Try A. You get it open. Click on slide 4. Okay, that gives us this slide right here, Club Embers. Ooh, Club Embers. Okay, now we're going to put some more slides into there. Okay, so we go to the new slide and we go to the drop down menu, and down towards the bottom there's a little thing here. It says reuse slides. Okay, reusing slides is a very good idea. So we've already got that here. Okay, we're going to reuse slides. First off, it needs to know where you want to reuse those slides from. Okay, so let's go ahead and click on the browse. And you've got to go ahead and find that presentation. So I've got P03 Try B on the desktop here. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and say open. Okay, now you've got the list of the slides that could possibly be used from the P03 B version. Okay. So it says let's click on June calendar to insert it. Okay, so that'll be the first one. June calendar. You click it, and it goes in. You see there's slide 5. It's the June calendar one. First one in the presentation. Notice also that it takes the same design theme. Like you can tell here, it's got a different design theme here. But once it comes over to this slide, once it's added to this slide, it takes on the appearance of this slideshow. Okay? Now, click on the remaining 4 slides to insert all of them. So, June, and bada bing. Alright, all of them. Now, they're all in there. Now we're done. We can go ahead and click on X to get rid of that. Simple and easy. We had that other slideshow already ready to go with the information. Did not need to redo all of this extra typing down here for these. I mean, could you imagine how long it would have taken you to type up all of that all over again? No way, thanks. No, thank you. Just go ahead and reuse slides. Once again, to reuse slides, new slide, reuse slides, get your spot over here, browse around for the one that you want to reuse, and click on each one of those that you want to put into your slideshow. Okay? Now, book talks about notes. Notes are important for you, the presenter. Okay? The notes tell you what it is that you are trying to talk about. The notes will not be seen by the people who are viewing the slideshow in presentation mode, but you can get it to print out the slideshow notes and you can get it to, just be a printout in your hand. Maybe you're doing a stand-up presentation in front of the PowerPoint as it's being presented behind you, and you just want to be able to, have notes for yourself as to what the next slide is going to be coming up as. That's real good for you if it's the first couple times doing this presentation until you get real comfortable with what the slideshow is, and you've got your timings all down and everything. You have those notes there to help you remind yourself about what is happening in your presentation. Okay, real good stuff if you're just getting started with your PowerPoint presentation, or if this is a new presentation that you're doing, like a one-time presentation for school or something. You could have those notes there. Okay, so where are these notes? It's like you're looking around on your screen. You're like, where's these notes at? I don't know. I can't find them. Ah, here we go down here. Take a look down here at the bottom. You got a little thing for notes right here. Click it open. There's a little area right there. You can click to add some notes. You can also expand this. Okay, you can also expand it. And you can see the notes down here at the bottom of the page. You can type up the notes at the bottom of the page. If you want to also as well, you can go up here to the view area, and there is a notes right here, and you can see a version of the slideshow, and then a much larger area to print your notes. Now this is what's actually going to be printed if you print up these notes. Okay, this is what's going to be printed on the page if you print up the notes page, and I'll show you how to handle that in just a second. But let's go ahead and see what the book has to say. Okay, we're in the View Notes page. Okay, we're going to be on slide 5. Now you can't tell what slide you're on here until you look down here at the bottom, which is behind me, unfortunately. Let me get that to where you can see it. Okay, down here you can see, here's a little thing that says Notes 2 of 9, 3 of 9, 4 of 9. I'm scrolling down right now with my mouse. Aha, now we are on Notes 5 of 9. Let's go ahead and go down here to the bottom. Type in a quick note for ourselves. Tell them about what's coming up in June. Yeah. Okay. You might not be able to see that too well. Okay, so my little notes section down here, I said tell them about what's coming up in June. Now, if I switch back to the normal view, the normal creation process, you can see down here at the bottom, you can see that your notes that you just typed up are down here in this bottom area. And as you flip through the slideshow, you see your notes area is still down there. And if it's got notes, the notes show up. Okay, so remember, the notes are for you, the person who is doing the presentation, to know what's coming up next in the slideshow and to prepare yourself to what to speak about when you switch to the next slide. Okay, I think we all get the idea there. Pretty good stuff. Moving on. Okay, so we're going to talk now about how to print it. Okay, you can print. Let's say File. You go to Print. Okay, you want to see that notepad. So instead of full page slides, you can click here for the notes. And now you can see your slide. Okay, and if it's got notes, it prints the notes underneath the slide. That is how you would get a printout of your slideshow with the notes for what's coming up next. Okay, now go back with the arrow. Go back to your normal way of doing things, and you can see we're gonna go ahead and go to the Design tab. Okay, some presentations are not going to be this wide. Okay, some screens, as you can see, my desktop can be expanded. You know, you can make some screens that big, and it's like when you press to do the presentation, it will spread across the entire screen just like this. This is what we call widescreen version. It's a 16 by 9 ratio. It's very wide, but that's not compatible with every screen, and it is certainly not compatible with a lot of overheads. The overhead that we have in the classroom is actually not a widescreen overhead, and so sometimes these presentations get a little squished and wonky. Well, maybe you know that that's coming. Maybe you know that that's going to be a problem later on. So you, with some forethought and good thinking, go ahead and decide to change your aspect ratio. Okay? The book says to go ahead, and it doesn't really matter where you start from, but we'll start with slide 1. Go ahead and go to slide size. Okay, you're on the design tab right here. You're going to move over here to the slide size. And notice that there's two options, widescreen version and standard, to choose from right now. Now, you could go to custom slide size. You could make something up if you want to. We'll look at that in a second. But let's just go ahead and click on standard for now. Now, because you're already in widescreen, and because the computer knows that it's not going to fit unless it does something weird and squishes it to make it happen, you've got options as to how it looks, basically. Okay, so what the PowerPoint gives you an option for is, hey, we can just like cut off the edges to your super wide size and just do the middle part here. That's called maximize. Or we can squish your document down to fit it, and you'll have some extra space here at the top and bottom. So which way do you want to handle that is their question whenever they say it here. Now the book asks us, it's going to say to go ahead and just go with the maximize for now. Okay, and as you can see, it's now more square. Okay, all of the slides are now very square in the 4:3 ratio. Obviously, it's not an actual square. 4:3 means for every 4 inches on one side, there's 3 inches on the other. So it's not a perfect square, but it's a lot more square than the widescreen was. Okay, now we can try again with the slideshow. We can go to customize the slideshow. You got a lot of different options. You can make it letter size. You can make it paper size. This is for more for printing options, really. It's like if you know that you're going to print out this PowerPoint, if you know that this is going to be a printed thing, then you could probably change your slide size to reflect that and make it more perfectly fit your paper size if that is the situation that you're looking for. Okay. Also, there's an option here on the customized slideshow to make it portrait instead of landscape. This is landscape. It's like it's wider than it is tall. This is called landscape. But if you know you're going to be printing it out on a piece of paper, okay, then you can make it on portrait style. And once again, you got to see how it fits. And look, now it's more like it's something that would be printed out on a piece of paper. Okay, this is not exactly something that you would use to present on a projector. Okay, probably not what you would use to print on to present on somebody's computer. Okay, but if you are trying to put together something to be used in a document style format, then that's the ratio that you'd want to select, and that's the ratio you'd want to use. Okay, but that is not good for us. So let's go ahead and turn it back. Go to slideshow. Go back to the good old widescreen. Okay. Now, notice what happens. Everything is weird. All of the things you did and have now, like the going back and forth with the different aspect ratios and the changings of the size and everything like that, kind of weirded it out. Okay? Let's try again. Slideshow, widescreen, slideshow standard. Okay, ensure fit. Slideshow widescreen, ensure fit. Okay, now everything's back to normal. Okay, so that maximizes alright, but the ensure fit tends to make everything work out just right. Okay, alright, good times. Okay, headers and footers we're all very aware of. Okay, you can, come on, there we go. Alright, you go to your insert tab, got your header and footer stuff right here. Now, works a little bit differently in PowerPoint. You're not actually going to see the header and footer in your, like on your page right here. You're not going to see it in the gray area because it's not it's not necessarily something that you're going to because you have to have the gray area to put stuff that might be coming in and off the screen, stuff like that. Okay, so when you click on header and footer in PowerPoint, it actually shows up here and it just asks you what you want to put in. For example, it's like you want to put the date and time in there. All right, it's got a little slot for date and time. You want to put what slide number it is. All right, you can click to put the slide number in there. You want to actually have something written in the footer? Okay, click on footer and then put something in. Let's go ahead and say Ember Nightclub. Okay, I'm going to type in Ember Nightclub here. And I'm going to apply, I can apply it to just this one, or I can apply it to all the slides. So I click on, well, let's go apply to all. You have your date. You got your little information down here at the bottom, and page 1. And then you go here, you see date, Ember Nightclub, page 2, page 3, page 4. So this is the header and footer. It's not so much header as it is basically just footer. Okay. You can also do these for notes and handouts. You can put them on a different thing for notes and handouts. Okay. You can also select for it to not show up on the title slide. But yeah, the header and footer is not so much header as it is just really footer. Let's go ahead and we'll cancel out of that since we already did it. So that's headers and footers in PowerPoint. Okay. Presentation properties, real quick. Last thing in lesson 3. You go to your file. You go down to your info section, and there's your properties. You can have some advanced properties if you need something. You don't see it here. Then you go to advanced properties. It'll pop up with one of these bad boys, and you type in your title. You can type in who made it, categories, keywords, things like that. This is all for searching when you've got searching on your computer whenever you've got this closed. This is stuff that can pop up with the computer without, you can search for it through your keywords and things like that through the File Explorer on your computer desktop without actually having to open up the PowerPoint and see what's inside it. You can just search with the keywords with that kind of stuff. So that's properties. You go to Info, and then here's the properties. You can change them here if you've got it in front here, or you can go Advanced Properties and make some more changes with the other options that are available. Okay? All right. So that is a lot of information about that stuff real quickly done. Good times. I'm not going to save it because I don't need to. Lesson 4 is about pictures. And we should be very aware of pictures. Okay? You can open up Try 4A. You can go to slide number 2. We've got pictures here. The easiest way to insert pictures is usually if you've got an open placeholder. Now it says click to add text, but it's also got all these other options. When you use it for one of these options, it will basically take it over, and then it's no longer a text box for you. So let's just go ahead and hit up pictures. It's the same as opening up the insert tab. You got a lot of options and things like that. We'll go desktop. That's where I've got the things located. Desktop, and where's my picture? Yeah, try 4B picture. Go ahead and insert. Okay, and bada boom, bada bing. Just like with Word. Okay, now Office 365's got a lot of new things going on. It's got a little design ideas section. It's got all kinds of stuff that could potentially make your stuff cooler and better and all this stuff. Alt text is a thing that you can do. Clicking on the bottom of it, alt text. You can also right click and format picture. And you can go to this last one. Picture corrections, cropping, position, text box. Here we go. This size and properties here, text box. Okay. Those are all things that you can do. Okay. You know all this stuff before. There's picture styles. You get your little picture formatting tab up here once you get it. You got your picture options, your picture styles that are already preset and pre-generated. Making fancy new things. I'll show you something cool to do with this later on with the pictures when we do animations. But you also have your drop-down list of more things like changing the picture borders, changing the picture effects like shadows and glows and things like that. Changing the picture layouts. You can actually put these pictures in with some smart art. We discussed smart art when we were doing Word. You can use these pictures in a smart art layout style. Okay, a lot of stuff. Basically, we did a lot of this stuff in Word. Keep in mind your crop, very important tool. The crop tool allows you to change what portions of the picture are seen. Okay, and you can crop that. Now, an interesting thing happens. When you do crop, it doesn't actually take out the information in the picture. Okay, that information is still there. If you go to File, and you go to Options, okay, when you save, okay, let's see. They might have moved it. Okay, possibly in advanced. Okay, here we go. This one right here. Image size and quality in the advanced PowerPoint options section has this right here which says discard editing data. What that basically means is when you save this file, when you close this file, that extra area that you cropped out of this picture, forgotten. Okay? Keep that in mind. You can use this to save, because I'll be honest, these things, when you start adding a lot of pictures into them, these PowerPoints can get very big very fast. Okay, especially if you've got one picture per page. You're talking about sometimes having PowerPoint files that are multiple tens of megs of data. I've done PowerPoints where it's 100 meg PowerPoint size. Now, if you do just words and pictures, you can actually get them in under 1 meg. But if you decide to do this with like a lot of pictures and like some videos and some some GIFs that have motion and stuff like that, you can easily start getting into the 20, 40, 50, 100 meg size range real fast. Okay, so what this does is it's like if you're going to crop down this picture to this size, do you need to remember the extra stuff? No, not really. That you've selected it the way you want it, so once you've saved it, you can actually have it discard editing data, and that extra stuff gets forgotten, saving you a little bit of extra memory space, causing your download to be shorter, causing your people to be less frustrated by the time that it takes to download your PowerPoint from the internet, if that's what you're doing. Okay? So that is an option that you could have. You can go to Advanced, you could say Discard Editing Data, and it will cause all of this extra area in your picture to be forgotten. Okay? So that is something that you can do with pictures. All the other picture stuff, you've seen this before in Word. It works the exact same way. Choosing different styles, choosing the transparency, like is it going to be like somewhat see-through or not, artistic effects, does it look like it was like painted on, or did you go black and white or something fancy? Okay, all of these options are basically things that you can do to your pictures. We've done them before in Word. You should remember. If not, hey, have fun playing around with it. It's actually kind of cool to play around with the picture options. Oh, see, look what I selected there. This is a fancy. Looks like somebody did a very artistic version of that picture in charcoal. Okay. Lots of stuff you can do with pictures. We've covered that before in Word. You should remember it. If you don't, play with it. The best way to learn this stuff sometimes is to just play with these things and have fun. Okay, so we're going to close that out. That's all I really need to show you guys. But just remember, if you are looking for something and you're not finding it up here, there is always the right-click Format Picture. And you can also edit your alt text right here. Right-click Format Picture, and it brings up the sidebar here, and you've got all your options. Okay, I'm going to close that out. I'm not going to save it. Okay, Lesson 5, Formatting Text. Folks, we did all that stuff in Word. Very simple, very easy stuff to do. I'm not even worried about having you guys concentrate any time extra on that. Aligning text. I've got one picture that talks about aligning text. It's pretty simple and easy stuff there. When you want to align text, you want to adjust some text options. Okay, like you want these to be over here. The easiest and quickest way to do alignment of text and options is to actually change the size of the the placeholder. It's like, these boxes were meant to be adjusted to the size that you need it. But should that not be what you want to do with it, you can take these lines. Most of the time you can go to View and you can click on the ruler. And just like with Word, you can change the positioning. Okay, you can change the positioning where one thing starts and where one thing ends, and where things begin and go forth and stuff like that. Okay, you can do those with your ruler just like before. You can have tabs. You can click on the tab bar. Now the only problem is that when you press tab on your keyboard, I'm sorry, I didn't have it up the whole time. You go to View. Okay, you go to the View tab, and then you go to Ruler, and you can click in the ruler, and then you can make changes with the ruler where things go. Just like before when we did it with Word, you can click to have little markers, little tab markers. But here's the thing, like I said, okay, the only problem is when you press tab, you actually go to outline mode. You go to using bullet points and things like that. And that's not exactly what you want to do. You're trying to just tab it over to this one right here. Like let's say you wanted to get it to the 2-inch mark. You press tab, it doesn't actually do that. That's not really what it's good for. Okay, so if you wanted to adjust paragraph spacing and things like that, okay, you got to go to the Home tab. And you got to do it manually, more or less, from the paragraph. Click open for your pop-up window, and you can change your indentation. Okay, you can put the indentation at like 1 inch or 2 inches or something like that. You can change the spacing between each of the words or something like that. You can change that. Okay, changing the things. Paragraph. Okay, change it with the paragraph. Open it up like that. Okay, that actually does it. That the other thing, you can't really press tab here. Pressing tab, it just assumes that you're trying to do outline stuff. Okay, text direction, you can actually change it to where the box goes in different directions, or if the words actually go stacked up and down. Many of our citizens are currently, see how that works? It's like it's stacked them vertically. Sometimes that's just a trick, a trick that you can do when you're trying to do an interesting presentation, when you're actually trying to make them like scroll downwards or do something cool with some animation or something like that. That is the text direction button right here on the Home tab. Aligning text, you can align the text to the top, the middle, or the bottom. Okay, super simple, super easy stuff. Here's the other thing where you can, but see, once again, it's like increasing and decreasing list level actually turns it into tab. The same problem with tabs. It thinks you're trying to do bullet points, and that might not be what you're wanting to do. So you got to be careful with it. Okay. Also, you can adjust the alignment, left, right, center, and also to do the justify. Okay. So those are all options. Sizing, shapes, bold, italics, underline. Doing different colored letters. All of those things are options for you to change your text. Okay, covered all that stuff in Word. It's more or less basically the same thing. Okay, so we're going to skip out of the rest of Lesson 6. Lesson 7, presentation outline. Just like with notes, you can actually see it in without the pictures and the hoobies and the widgets and the doodads. You just go to View, you go to Outline, and you can see it in outline format. Now, there's actually a trick to this. I have taken an outline that somebody has given me, and they asked me to make a PowerPoint out of it. And I put that outline into here. And for the most part, if you copy-paste an outline into this document on the outline page, it will more or less create the PowerPoint for you. Now, the cool thing is that you can actually click into some stuff, and I press Enter, okay? And it changes the way that it looks on the screen. Okay? Now you can actually press Tab. Once again, it starts making bullet points out of it. But Shift tabbing actually creates new slides. So if you have an outline and it didn't go into the right way, you can actually just shift tab your way on the main points and create slides out of it. And let me tell you, that is a fast way to turn a Word document into a PowerPoint. It works really fast. I've done that trick like a few times, and let me tell you, that is a lifesaver and a game changer. Okay, when you've got to put together a PowerPoint from something you've written up in Word real quick, going to the outline view and just doing Shift Tab to go from a sentence to having its own slide just by doing Shift Tab. Okay, you just got to be careful because sometimes everything that you've got typed in ends up in the title portion of it, and that's not exactly what you want. So you got to do a little bit of rearranging, but that saved my bacon a couple of times whenever I needed to make a PowerPoint real fast on a few things. Okay, so that's outline view. There's also reading view. You can actually just see the PowerPoint in reading view. It's not much different from the presentation view. Might be a few less bells and whistles that way. Now, here is something important for you people who are out there. Remember how I told you, someday you're going to be business people. Someday you're going to be working in an office. And you're going to need to print this out. But remember what I said about office printers. Most of them are set to black and white because they want to save on the ink. Color ink is expensive. Black and white ink is not. So, take a look here. On your View tab, once again, you can observe it in color. I'm going to turn it back to normal. You can observe in color, but you can also observe it in grayscale. When I clicked on grayscale, it takes me to the grayscale options. Okay, there's automatic grayscale. There's different versions of grayscale. You can invert it. Okay. This is telling you what it will print out like. Okay. Now look here. Okay, that picture's fine. What about this? Can you really tell the difference between these three bars? Sometimes with your color selections, those bars actually don't look that differentiated. Okay? When you print this up, before you print up 100 copies on a black and white printer, you want to go to View tab, you want to go to this color grayscale thing, and you want to check it out in grayscale to make sure that you are not screwing this up. Okay? People get mad whenever you print out 100 copies of your presentation and they all have to be thrown away because you didn't check the grayscale and it looks awful and you can't tell what's going on. Okay? So, let's view this in color once again. There we go. Good times. Alright, that is the last thing I'm looking at for that. Arranging slides, pretty simple, pretty easy stuff. You got your slide sorter. I think we covered this last time. You got your slide sorter. If you want to move things around, you need to see this last. Okay, or you need to see this first. The slide sorter option in the View tab is a real quick and easy way because it gives you thumbnails and allows you to pull and drag things into whatever order that you need them to be pulled and dragged into. Okay? Now, that's basically, you know, if you have two presentations, let me show you this real quick trick. If you've got two presentations and you don't feel like doing the reuse slides thing, you want to do it real quick and easy. You put two presentations side by side. You've got one slide right here with information. Click, drag. You can actually drag it to the other one. Notice that you've got a little plus and a little square underneath your arrow. You drop it in. Bada bing. It's in the new presentation. You can drag and drop these bad boys into the new presentation. Okay. That works. Okay. You don't have to go through the reuse slide option all the time. You can just have two of them open. Click one of them, drag, drop into the other one. Bada bing, there it is. And then you just reorganize it wherever you want it to go. Okay. Super simple, super easy stuff, folks. This is not a hard program to work with. All right. Now, lesson 9. Okay, we're going about 34, 35 minutes here. We're going to work out this real quick. Slide transitions. Let me go ahead and close this out. Slide transitions are great. They are fun. They make your PowerPoint a little bit more interesting, a little bit more friendly. Okay, but they can be overused. Okay, they can be overused. All right. What a slide transition is like when you are watching your presentation. Okay, you got your presentation playing here. Let me just make sure I've got what I need. All right, and you just go click, click, click. All right, so it's jarring. So it's jarring. It's not very friendly. It's just kind of like bam, 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 new thing, new thing, new thing. All right, let's make it a little more friendly. Let's make it a little more nice, and useful. Now, the idea with transitions is that you are providing a literal transition, a change from one slide to the next with a little bit of magic and animation and fun stuff. Okay, so transitions are the animation of a slide from one slide to the next. For example, you go to the Transitions tab up here at the top. Just a simple fade out from one to the other. I'm going to do fade, okay, and when I go to play the PowerPoint, okay, let's go ahead and do it to the second one as well. All right, so watch as we go from one to the next. Okay, you saw the fade in, okay, and when I click it again, and it fades in again, okay, that's much better than that. Okay, much better, much nicer presentation-wise, a little bit more professional, and it just looks nice. Now, when you have stuff like fade, it's very simple. You can actually see if you click on these, you can actually get a demonstration of what it will do. Okay, reveal, and into the next one. Okay, you can have random bars. Okay, you can have a shape. Goes from a circle outward. Okay, but that's not the only thing. Every one of them has got some options. Okay, it's not always going to do this. Look over here, effect options. Okay, so if we're doing the uncover, there's different uncovers. You can do it from the right, like we just did. You can do it from the top. You can do it from the left. You can do it from the bottom. Okay, so there's lots of different ways to get these to move about. Okay, now, don't go crazy. One of the biggest pieces of advice that I can use for people is to make things entertaining yet consistent. If it's entertaining, it keeps people's attention. But if it's nothing but crazy wildness all the time, people are actually just going to be looking for the crazy wildness, and they're not actually going to be paying attention to your PowerPoint. Keep that in mind. Keep it simple, keep it consistent, keep it strong. Okay? Now, one of the additional things that you can do, over here on the side, you got your sound button. Okay? I don't know if you can hear it or not whenever I do this, but I can put on a bomb sound. Okay, and I can tell it how long to make that sound. Okay? Or I can tell it how long to make the transition for the duration of, like, however long this is. Okay? The duration is actually how long does it take to do the transition. Okay, the bomb sound will go as long as the bomb sound needs to go. So, for example, I'm going to take the bomb sound, I'm going to take the uncover, I'm going to make it be 1 second, I'm going to apply it to all slides. Now watch the slideshow. Hopefully you could hear that. Okay. Notice what happens whenever I apply it to all. Now I've gone back up to slide 1. It's got uncover. Slide 2, slide 3, slide 4. They've all got uncover. Slide 5, 6. They're all uncovered. They've all got the bomb sound. So if I start from the front, hopefully you can hear this bomb sound. Every time I changed, it's doing the same transition and the same bomb sound. Okay. Now, I want to point something out to you on these transitions. Sometimes it can get really annoying, okay? I intentionally used this one time. It was called like crack or something like that, or smash. There was a sound effect that I had used, and let me tell you, it was the sound of windows breaking, and boy did it get annoying after the 5th or 6th slide. Be careful with these sound effects. They can get annoying real fast, especially if they're designed to annoy. Most people don't seem to mind the whoosh. Most people don't seem to mind the chime. Laser gets annoying. Okay? Laser really gets annoying. Ow! That hurts my ears to hear it. Okay? So, one thing that I will also caution you on, take a look at the one called curtains if you've got this up and active. Okay? Look how slow that goes. Okay, take a look at the duration. 6 full seconds to do that animation. Holy smokes, that is a long time. Now, you could change the duration. Okay? You can knock that down to 2 seconds. Try it out. Okay? That's a little bit better. Okay, that's a little bit better. But holy smokes, 6 seconds, people are going to get bored and frustrated, and they're just going to start tuning out to your actual presentation. They're not going to wait for the information to come up. You're going to lose their attention span, and that's not good. Okay, so always check the duration of your slides. Your slide transitions, don't make it like more than like 2, at most 3 seconds, because those are just taking too long. You can always crank down the duration to make it faster, and it'll go through quicker. And then you'll be on your slides, and you're back to talking about what it is that's important. You know, not waiting around for your transitions to happen. Okay. Last thing to talk about, real quick, right here on the advancement of slides. Okay. Sometimes you want to go hands-free. You want to be able to have your slideshow running. You don't want to have to use your hands to click on the mouse every time you want to go. You want to be able to talk to people to the left, to the right. You want to point. You want to do your Bill Clinton. Ha 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 ha. Okay. Sometimes you need to have your hands free. Sometimes you're going to be walking about the stage while your PowerPoint is going on behind you. You can time out your PowerPoints, and you can tell it with this after right here. You can tell it when it is that you want it to slide. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and say let's make every slide transition after 5 seconds. Now obviously 5 seconds is too short. There's no way you're reading all of this stuff in 5 seconds. Each slide should be timed out to a proper amount of time. But let's just say 5 seconds is what we want to do. I've selected after. I've put on the check mark in the after box. 5 seconds is the amount of the slide timing. And let's see what happens. Let's go ahead and apply to all real quick. I'm going to apply to all. I'm going to go back up to the first slide. I'm going to do my slideshow. We're going to count it out as it goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1. Oh, transition. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See how it goes? Every slide is timed for 5 seconds, and then it goes on to the next slide. It does this transition, and then it times out the advancement after 5 seconds, or whatever it is that you put on this advancement. Okay? Now, remember, if you're going to advance slides automatically, you will need to give people enough time to read through this. Practice it yourself a couple of times. Practice it like a person who has a problem reading, and read slowly, because not everybody's going to be a fast reader. If you're a fast reader, not everybody else is going to be a fast reader. Okay? Go slowly, think about things, give yourself time to think about it, and make sure that you're not advancing the slide until people have had a chance to actually read and digest the material. Okay? All right. That is all the stuff that you need to know from lessons 3 through 9 in the book. Okay? Now, I have a lesson 9 practice for you to do. I want you to go and get the lesson 9 practice out of the Google Classroom. Download it for yourself. Remember, download it. I can't share it with you, otherwise you're going to affect the slideshow for everybody that downloads it, okay? Download your own copy of the slideshow. Follow the lesson 9 practice instructions. Upload, save before you upload. Save first. Then upload your file to this assignment. Submit your work. And that will be your project for the week. Remember, all projects are due Saturday night at midnight. I want everybody to get that in place. We've been at this for a couple of weeks now. I want you guys to start getting good at this. Saturday at midnight is when I expect everybody to start turning in homework. If I don't see homework, I'm going to start making phone calls, and I'm going to start asking people's parents, hey, what's going on? Are you guys working on your work? Don't make me do that. Okay? Get your work done. Be a responsible individual in this time of crisis. Okay, do the things you're supposed to do. You know what you're supposed to be doing. All right, we're closing in on 45 minutes here. I think that's quite enough time. I hope you guys are doing great. I hope you guys are able to do stuff. If you have any questions, call me, email me, get in touch with me. I will help you out. This is Mr. Lankin, signing off.